Hello, my name is Jonathan Nill, and today we're going to be taking a look at Los Angeles civil e-filing and some of the new requirements that goes along with it. Some important dates to remember. So Permissive Limited will go live November 13th. Civil Limited will then go mandatory on December 3rd. At the same time, Civil Unlimited will go live for permissive e-filing. And then on January 2nd, all civil will be mandatory, including complex. So we're really excited to be one of the first EFSPs who've passed the certification process with a court software company, JTI. You may hear us talk about JTI in the future, and that's exactly who they are. They're just they're a courts technology company. Just like Tyler Technology is a software company that's being used in multiple courts throughout the state, including LA Probate, they're simply the software company who we integrate with to be able to offer you e-filing. As we've experienced in the past with new courts going live with e-filing and new software companies, we fully expect a transitional period with a lot of questions, problems, rejections, questions and problems with rejections. Just remember, the clerks are new to this as well, and we're all doing everything we can to make this successful. With that said, the court has already emphasized that there will be a high rejection rate when this first goes live. So if you receive a rejection and need help clarifying it, please contact us and we'll help you find a solution. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and see what this looks like. So I'm going to first start off by clicking on Place an Order. By the way, I'm in the customer portal. You guys will all be able to see this as well, doing concierge or assisted e-filing from your operations portal. Same thing. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do an e-filing, and of course, Los Angeles County. And for this webinar, I'm going to start off with doing a case initiation first, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what a subsequent filing looks like. So we'll go next to our case info tab. And this is where we start to see some of the enhancements to the new e-filing order flow. So we still need to enter in the case title, which I'll go ahead and do Smith v. Jones. And next is the case category. So we do display the two available case types for your customer to select. We'll add to this list as more case types become available for e-filing in LA. So I'll go ahead and choose Civil Limited. Next, for my case type, I'll go ahead and do contractual fraud. It doesn't really matter. It's just what I'm doing for this webinar. Jurisdictional amount. So we'll go ahead and do 10 to 25. And next is the incident zip code. So this is a new requirement that the court is asking us to implement. They require the zip code to determine what the court's jurisdiction will be. So for this demo, we'll go ahead and enter in 90012, which will fall under Stanley Mosque. We do have an enhancement to display the jurisdiction after we go live. By the way, if you're unsure of what the incident zip code is, you can find it on the last page of the civil case cover sheet addendum. Once we have the incident zip code entered in, some additional information will be displayed, and it's going to differ by the case type as well as the jurisdiction. So for my contractual fraud case and Stanley Mosque, the court is asking if this is conditionally under seal. We'll go ahead and uncheck that because it's not. Same thing with a confidential case. I'll go ahead and leave that unchecked. Next is the demand amount. I'll go ahead and enter in a demand amount of $18,500. Please keep in mind, we don't allow special characters to be entered in this field like dollar signs or commas. The court is only looking for the numerical value. This field is also not a required field. However, if you do have the information, please put it in. If you don't, it is fine to proceed on. If it is a required, you will see an asterisk next to the field that you're looking to input in. Next is the premises address. Again, this is an optional field to enter in. If you have it, great, please do. And you could find this information on the last page of the civil case cover sheet next to the zip code. Well, it should be all included, but you know what I mean. So enter in our address in LA. Guess we'll do it again. So we'll do 205 South Broadway. 90012. All right, so now that I have all the case information entered, we can go ahead and click on Next and go to the Case Participants tab. So from here, we'll go ahead and click on Add Party. We still have the ability to select if this party is a person or organization. We'll go ahead and select the plaintiff and add their appropriate name. So once I have the plaintiff added, we can see that there's a few different options to that's available to be selected. So if the party has an alternative name, I can go ahead and check on that box and enter in the additional name. If that party has multiple additional names, you can go ahead and click on the green plus button over to the right and add as many as you need. So for this one, we'll go ahead and just uncheck that. Next, the court wants to know if this party needs an interpreter. By checking that box, you'll just need to select which language from this drop-down menu you'll need the interpreter for. We also need to know if this party is self-represented. If so, the court simply needs the contact information of that party. If they're represented by an attorney, we'll capture the contact information off of the attorney as opposed to the party. And then lastly is the lead client. So checking this, we'll ask for the billing code, and we can go ahead and save. Now I'll go ahead and add my defendant. And as you can see, we still have the option to enter in their alternate names as well as an interpreter if you know that that party is going to need one. Now that I have my two parties added, I can go ahead and add my attorney. To find the appropriate attorney, please enter in at least 2 characters of the attorney's first and last name. You may need to add additional information like their phone and email after it comes back from the court. So we'll go ahead and search. We found the record, but let's go ahead and choose either one of them. Looks like the address matches there. And then we'll need to enter in just a few more fields. So the firm name, we'll just do test for this one. And then we need to know the phone number and email. All right. And once we have all the contact information entered in, we can go ahead and save. And now that we have all of our parties, including the attorney, we can go next to the Documents tab. All right, so the Documents tab is where we're going to see most of the changes in the portal. The court is basically asking for as much information of the document that pertains to each party and or to the case. The goal is to allow the clerks to quickly review and confirm that all the information is correct. That way they can accept the filing. If something is not correct or is missing, they will reject it. So I'll go ahead and begin typing in my complaint and select the appropriate complaint document from the list. Next, I'll go ahead and browse my computer for the document. And once the document is uploaded, we can see that there are some questions that the court is requiring. So here's the tip, guys. Use the question marks, or have your customers use the question marks to help find out what information is actually required or needed. So for the filed by, I'll go ahead and select on the filing party, which in this case is the plaintiff. Next is the filed by representation, which will be the attorney. And then lastly is the refers to. The complaint is referring to the defendant, so I'll go ahead and select him. And don't forget to click on the lead document box. The lead document is going to be the main or most important document of the filing, so we want to make sure to call that out. All right, now I'll go back up to the document types and select my civil case cover sheet. I'll go ahead and browse for that, upload it to the order. By the way, for the civil case cover sheet addendum, the court is asking that it be attached to the civil case cover sheet as a single PDF. The system will pre-populate the same required information as the previous documents, but can be changed. So we see here how the system automatically populated the filed on behalf of, filed by representation, and the refers to. Again, we can click in there and change the information if we need to, but typically it's going to be the same. And lastly is my summons. Excuse me. I'll go ahead and search for that document and upload to the order. And again, we'll see that the same information gets pre-populated as the previous documents. All right, now that I have all of my documents uploaded, I can see that the required data on each document is completed by the complete notification to the right side of the document title. If there was anything that was missing, the system will prompt for the user to complete the information before they're allowed to proceed on. All right, so next we'll go to the Court Fees tab. So on this step, the system's actually doing a few things in the background, starting with making sure that all of the required information is validated with the court's requirements. If there are any issues, a message will be displayed advising the customer what the issue is. Now, this error message comes straight from the court software company JTI. In the early stages, LegalConnect will be monitoring these error messages to make them more user-friendly, as well as building out enhancements to prevent that error from happening again. Once the court confirms all technical validations have been met, it will provide the fees for the filing. Now, the court has assured us that all the fees as displayed will always be correct. If the fees are not correct, then the user may not have done something properly. For example, if the user is submitting an answer on two parties but only selects one of them in the previous tab, the court fees will only acknowledge one first appearance fee, and which would end up being rejected. If the party has a fee waiver, then the fees will be cleared out. So we can see here that the complaint popped up, the $370 fee, and we can also see what the EFM and court technology fees are as well. So I'll go ahead and authorize for fees to be paid. The court does not provide an option to not pay the court fees. So long as all the information is entered in properly, then the fees that are returned by the court should always be correct. All right, next I'll go to my order details tab. LA, along with all other e-filing courts in California, has an 11:59 deadline. We put 11:50 on our side just to be safe. We can still enter in special instructions, choose the users to receive the notifications, and submit. So once we submit, the customer will still receive the same email confirmation with the court's transaction number included. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the home page, and we'll go through a subsequent filing to show you really quick some of the changes there. So again, we'll go ahead and do e-filing, Los Angeles, and then this time we'll do a subsequent filing. So next to the case info tab, and here we see some changes again. As you can see, we default the case category to civil and the search type to non-UD cases. If we click to search for a UD case, Los Angeles requires that we display this message and force the user to accept the terms if they're searching for a UD case. This is pretty much the same thing that we do in Orange County, except instead of just asking if they're a party to the case, LA does require that we click to accept these terms. I'll go ahead and click cancel and then reselect the non-UD case type. And I'll enter in my case number and hit search. All right, as soon as the case returns, we can go ahead and click Next to the Case Parties tab. Nothing new here, just need to check one of the boxes for the lead clients and go ahead and add the billing code. Once that's saved, we can go ahead and proceed on next to the Documents tab. All right, from here, let's say we're filing a motion to compel and a proof. So I'll start typing in motion to compel, and I can see from here that the document title has a name extension. So what that means is the court is looking for the full name of the document as it appears on the caption. I'll show you where we add that as soon as we upload our document. All right, so we'll still need to select who we're filing on behalf of. In this case, I'll go ahead and choose the plaintiff. The fee receipt number, we'll go ahead and enter that in as well. This is the fee receipt number that was provided by the court when the motion was reserved. And then now we have the name extension. So for example, if the document was a motion to compel further responses to petitioner's form interrogatories, we can go ahead and type all of that in. All right. And lastly, don't forget to check for the lead client, or the lead document, excuse me. Now let me upload my proof. So I'll type in proof. I will select proof of service, not summons and complaint. We'll browse for my document, upload it to the order. All right, and then we can see that the system did pre-populate the filed on behalf of because we already had that information from the previous document, but now we need to select the filed or the refers to party. So this proof of service was referring to the two defendants on the case, so we'll go ahead and select those two. And now we can proceed on next to the court fees tab. Oh, so because we're filing on a subsequent case and the system, you didn't add an attorney, the system needs to know, or the court needs to know, if they're filing, if they are self-represented. This way they could add the contact information. If they're not self-represented, they can go ahead and click cancel and then just proceed on next to the fees tab. All right, so from here we can see that the fee comes back from the court. So we have the motion fee plus the transaction fees. We'll go ahead and authorize for fees to be paid. Click next to proceed onto the order details and then submit the order. All right, now I do want to call out a few things on this presentation. So what I showed you today is what is going live on November 13th. However, LegalConnect will continue to make changes and enhancements to the portal as we learn more about LA Civil, just as we have in the past with any other e-filing counties and courts. If you run into any issues, please contact us with as much information as possible so that we can triage those issues and get you a solution or a fix for the future. As a last resort, you can still paper file the documents as the court is only permissively allowing e-filing until December 3rd. So that's what I have to show you today. Thank you all for attending. I'm just going to spend a few moments reviewing your questions and getting you some answers. I will be right back. All right, so if the filing has a fee waiver or the party has a fee waiver, the fees will be waived. For a subsequent filing, you do not need to still upload the fee waiver or the signed fee waiver. When you're doing a case initiation with the fee waiver, you will need to upload the request for fee waiver. The court has told us that the order on the fee waiver will actually be generated by the court and returned to you or to the customer once it's signed. The court does not have an order on fee waiver document to upload and submit with your filing. This is regarding the zip code. So by typing in the zip code, what if it gives me an incorrect jurisdiction? The court has already told us that the zip code should always match up on their side which jurisdiction it falls under. There are a few zip codes that fall under two different jurisdictions, in which case the system will present a pop-up for the user to select which jurisdiction they're meaning to file into. For collection cases, the court's only assigning those to Chatsworth or Norwalk right now. If the document is for Stanley Mosque, please make sure the customer has that on their documents, and then I would suggest adding it to the special instructions as well. But the clerks will then change it when they're processing the document to Stanley Mosque jurisdiction. Fees for e-filing. So currently the EFM fees for LA is $2.45. The LA court technology fee is $1.75. We do expect that the EFM fee, EFM stands for Electronic Filing Manager, this is JTI in this instance, that the fees will be coming down as case types become mandatory, but we don't know for sure or if they're going to have when they're going to make any changes to those fees. All right, it looks like that's all the questions we had today. Again, thank you all for joining it. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, please contact us and we'll be happy to walk through those with you together. Have a great afternoon.